It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Partizan Brewing Company, and it's their Saison Mosaic, coming in at 7.4% ABV. There you go. They like their topless birds on their labels for whatever reason. Well, it must be because they're topless, I suppose. They must like boobs at Partizan Brewing Company. Oh, look at the smoke on that opening. Wow. Don't want to lose any of that beer. How close are we to losing some beer there? But we won't lose any beer. It's a carbonated little number, this one. Looks like it's going to dissipate though quite quickly. So, Mosaic. I like my Saisons, I really do. I think they're a great example of craft beer. Are you going to call this craft beer? Are you going to call it good beer? Ale? I'm going to call it craft beer. It's got some American hops in. For me, it's not just that it got American hops in it that classes it as a craft beer. It's more to do with that this beer is bound to have some great flavour, and that equals craft beer in my mind. So it's got a 3 to 4 finger white head that is indeed dissipating quite quickly. You've got nice levels of carbonation around the bottom of the glass, around the sides of the glass. It's got a little bit of haze in there. It's a little bit of yeast suspension floating around, but you would expect that with a Saison. Saison is a farmhouse ale. It was brewed by the landowners in France and Belgium for their workers in the spring and the summer. It was a table beer. It was a beer to be consumed at the workers' lunch times and after work. It was a beer brewed to keep the workers working. And we don't do that anymore, do we? I work in somewhere or other. You know, I work in a supermarket at the moment in time, and we don't get given beer at lunchtime. What's the matter with the world today? Aroma then on this golden coloured Saison. And yeah, great balance. For a split second, first off, I was getting Saison. I was getting that lovely yeasty, kind of fruity, dry, funky aroma. And then lurking around there is that lovely Mosaic hop. It's fruity. It's like a bouquet of flowers. It smells fantastic. I'm going to dive in. Cheers. A very dry beer. Dry, hoppy, grapefruity. Saison, like, it's funky. There's that classic for me, that white grape. That white grape with a slightly peppery edge to it. Again, as always with the Saison, it has to be Saison first. There's no point in overdoing it with the hops in the beer. Certainly American hops, because it just wouldn't class as a Saison. I suppose you would get all of the elements of a Saison as I'm getting here. You would get that farmhousey, horse blankets, carbonated, like a champagne carbonated briskness, you know, that kind of where a champagne hits your tongue and it explodes like a Saison. That, again, you get like an apple, a green apple. I call it champagne cider. That's my own personal way of describing this beer style. Champagne cider. It's all the elements. It's all that lovely appley, tasty, juicy, fruity taste with that lovely kind of champagne carbonation, that rushing carbonation. But yeah, it's Saison first, then it's kind of American hop second. And that's very important for a Saison, that it makes sense that way. If it was the other way around, as I was mentioning earlier, I think, where would it be? What would it be? I like this. Partizan Brewing Saison Mosaic. The question is, would I buy it again? Well, it's 7.4% ABV, so, pardon me, I think I'd be looking to buy it as a half. I'd have a half of it, maybe a 330 bottle. 7.4%. It drinks like a 4 to 5% beer. You would never know the alcohol was kind of pushing 7 to nearly 8%. It's a greatly brewed beer that hides the alcohol very well, and all good beers do that. So I'd have a half, I'd have a bottle, and then I'd probably either go to sleep after a long day and finish him with one of these, or I would move on to another half and then fall asleep. Rating. It's a tough one because I like it. I really like it. But I think that they brewed better Saisons. I'm not sure if the hop character in this beer is, and I'm kind of going over exactly what I didn't want to say earlier. I wanted it to be Saison first, and I wanted the hop to be second. I reiterated that all the way through the review. But now when it comes to rating it, I kind of changed my mind a little bit, because I've reviewed some of their other Saisons and they've been slightly hoppier, and it's been slightly more balanced in terms of like a 50-50 approach. 50% Saison, dryness, lemoniness, apple champagne-ness, and then 50% big punching hop ball. And I probably want a little bit more of that big punching hop ball, if I'm honest. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a very, very good score. It's a very, very good beer. But I think if it was a little bit more hopped up, I would give it a 9, you know? So take the review as you want, I suppose. I spent most of it reiterating the fact that the hop shouldn't overtake the balance, the taste of the Saison. But then right at the end there, I kind of changed my mind a little bit. So yeah, 8 out of 10. It's a good beer. You make of it what you make of it. You go and buy it and try it. Thanks for watching. Put your comments in the comments box. Please subscribe to our daily beer reviews, and cheers.